Welcome everyone to this wonderful evening where we're going to discuss the future of VL. We're going over a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to introduce about who's still in stream, so you know the faces. In the top right, you see Glenn, the maker of Kraken. In the middle, you see Joycey, the wonderful streamer. In the top left, you also have a wonderful streamer, and also going about all the streams. And is basically one of the streamers, Copier of Fire, also Sandro. Just beneath that, we have Travesty, other streamer that we have. And then you have me, Tipo of Hyper, whatever you want to call me. I'm currently the owner. But about that, we're going to start with it even. After this split concluded, or well, it's almost concluded, I'm going to now announce that I'm going to retire and that I'm going to pass on the torch to Joycey. There's not really a specific reason on why I wanted to retire, but I feel like I'm not doing much that benefits VL, then I'm just going to leave it to somebody that's actually doing stuff for VL and going to make it better. And I think Joycey is the right man for it, because he also just been doing it already, and without me saying it, but now it's out in the open. So Joyce is going to become your new owner, and I'm just gonna leave, I think, even the admin team, but that's up still in the air. That's just basically point one. And for the rest of the evening, Joycey, take it away.
Thank you very much, Viper. For those that are going to ask, he's not getting kicked, he's got IRL stuff. Got ganked by school and IRL stuff in that regard. So yes, you join us all here tonight. We're going to look at the future of VL. There's been lots of talk, lots of whispers, lots of DMs by John Joe, who seems to figure out things before we even decide them. So we're going to come clean with everything that we've got, everything we've discussed. Now, before we get started, I want to say everything that you see, so in the middle of the screen you'll see this message, everything that you see on this document will also get pushed out as well, are pure examples. There's no official numbers, no official names or anything like that. It's purely example purposes only, just so we're aware. So, moving in first, the biggest news I think we've got. What we're going to do is we're going to take questions periodically throughout. Wait, graphics are more fucked up. What?
No, it's not. It's not.
Is it fine? Yeah? Okay, good. So,
Sometimes it's a little bit buggy, but it's
okay, cool. Right, we're going to move on to the split changes or the format changes. We are looking to move away from the default structure that we've been using, and we've come up with this sort of system. So I'll quickly talk you through what we're looking to do. Instead of having a silver and gold and having a gold and plat, we're looking to merge into one official league. Now that wouldn't be 20 teams in one group or one table. Instead, we're going to opt to go into separate groups, or however we're going to call these down the line, but essentially roughly around groups of 5. And these will be in a sort of like an ELO rating, with A being pretty much the lowest teams. So what we've been having in our silver gold, the lower standard, or the lower teams in silver gold. And as you can see, for example, all the webcams have just died. Who left?
Glenn.
Glenn. You troll.
I can't believe he's done this.
Oh, did you connect? Oh, it's back. He's fixed. And as you can see, WSLA into Group B with some of the gold and plat teams, all the way up to the OP, WX, Y, and Z teams. Obviously, for you American folk out listening. And we'll have a single round robin best of 3 format, with game days still on Monday and Thursdays, but Group A and B would be on the Monday, and C and D on the Thursday. Now, the more important change is how the playoffs would look to work. So hopefully, this little colouring system you can see down here might make a bit more sense. I hope, Sandra, that's not the actual quality.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it
Okay, well, we're going to push out this document anyway. So how we'd look to do it is the top 2 in one group play in a best of 3. The bottom 2 of the group above play in a best of 3. And it'd be a winner versus loser situation, with the winner progressing to Group B and the loser degressing down to Group A. So as you can see in this example down here, Deja Vu versus Vigorous Beta, and then Hentai Haven Beta versus WSL Academy. Hentai Haven Beta would have lost this one. Deja Vu would have won this one. They then play each other, and Deja Vu goes up, Hentai Haven comes down. Now, this will make more sense if I scroll down a little bit, where you can see the Season 2 standings, as you like. So, we're looking at more of a promotional relegation system, where we look to keep teams in a longevity, rather than disbanding every split and remaking and redoing new splits. Now, we think that this will be better for the health of the league, in terms of in a year's time, 2 years' time, we'll still have these groups. If we don't have as many teams sign up, we can reduce the amount of groups we have. If we have too many, we can have more groups, or we can have more teams in groups. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility in that regard. As you can see at the very top, the blue one, this would be just a best of 5. Oh, also it'd be best of 5 in the winner versus loser. So in the final game for the top team would be a best of 5, and obviously this team is handled in this section. More to come on this in terms of questions and answers. I think that was everything in that section. Glenn, I don't think you see anything else, do you?
No.
So, have we got any questions in the chat? So Byron's saying, how do we deal with teams disbanding? We kind of need to get to this point to answer that question, Byron. But there'll be benefits to teams staying on and not folding in terms of that. Game days are decided on Group A and B being on a Monday, Group C and D being on a Thursday. There will still be a rank restriction, ASCO, but it's going to be slightly more lenient, as we're going to get to very shortly. Russ, never, you're banned forever, my dude.
How do you accidentally make diamond? Hold on a minute.
There's no official cap on teams. We're going to look to go for around 5 in each group, but if we get 30 teams sign up, we just have 6 groups. Rock game perms is not going to happen. It's going to be a mod for life. Teams that an orc can have, that's to be decided, I suppose. Maybe 2, depending on how the groups form, in terms of if you're in Group A, Group C. I'm not kidding, Rush, you're not really banned. TTT will return.
Yes, it will.
That's definitely a thing that needs to come.
Very soon.
You play to move to finish in a high group. Yeah, so let's say DJV, that sounds so awful to say, DV starts in Group A and they get promoted, and they stay together and they fight their way through, and then they go up, and they fight their way through and go up. Now, further on in the groups, there'll be more benefits to being in a higher group. We're going to get to that in the rule updates / updates to the league. In terms of TFT League, that's not something that we are looking at currently. Could change in the future. Glenn is in a suit because we're all dressing quite smart. Trav's wearing a shirt, which means he's smart. Hyper having a webcam makes him look smart. Sandro's looking the smartest of us all. I've got a tie. Glenn's got a suit and shirt on.
I'll fix me looking smart.
Stone, Minecraft Realm is back up. Yes, if people want to go and play the Minecraft Realm, it hit Stoned up. Proximity warning in the chat. I'm 2 perks in League, if you want to DM him. We're going to move on to the rank restrictions very shortly. Go. Kraken's going to be easy to handle in the future. No, the mods just need to stop being boosted apes. Lower rank teams, yes, they will. They'll still get recognised. All admins are staying, with potentially a few coming upwards. As you've seen, for example, Nav and Rock are working hard to try and get promoted. One of those will come up definitely. Nav, Rock, never mind. Copies, Beth birthday present. Sandra, what did you get?
Oof. To be honest, getting P10 in Formula 1. But don't really know. Not much I got from now. Probably tomorrow.
Charmander, there's a potential that you could play on the Thursdays. Right. I think it'd be a good idea if we move on to rank requirements, which is what everyone's asking about, and it kind of alludes into what we're going into next. So, flip over the tab. Hopefully a lot of you have already seen this already. It's what Rock was working hard on for the winter tournament, the Inter Wonderland. And this is the sort of system that we're wanting to look to bring full-time into VL. So a team would be allocated a certain amount of points. The points number is not official yet. This is just a test to see how it goes. These points could go up or down. But a team is allocated a bunch of points. They can then fill in their team with whatever rank statuses they would like. Flex will count towards the official one, unlike the winter one. And they can build up the team however they want. Yes, Rock, we just stole it. I just want to show people what it looked like so it makes sense. So for example, if it was 40 points, this team 1 could have plat 3, plat 4, gold 4, silver 1, gold 4. With that being average points 40, and the average yield is gold 2 to 3. These numbers could change, but essentially this sort of system. To the side of that, each league would potentially use a different number, each group would use a different requirement for each number. So let's say, if I quickly just type this out, let's say group A was 30 points, and then B was 35, and then group C 40, group D 45. Then each team would be allowed a certain more amount of points, meaning that the higher up the groups you go, the higher ELO average. However, in the red text at the top, you can see that teams that stick together will be rewarded by being allowed an additional amount of points. So let's say you've been together for a split, you might be allowed an extra 5 points or 3 points, meaning that instead of 30, you'd have the 33 or 35. And as you grow together, you'll be allowed more points with a cap to make sure it doesn't become too excessive. So that's one of the benefits that we've got for people sticking together. Now, this is already a system that's well in place in other leagues, and leagues that some people have been in, but also we've had a lot of sign-ups already for the winter tournament with this system in place. So let's take some more questions. Okay, so if you had a Smurf, that would still be dealt with in the same system. However, obviously the wins would be reversed and whatnot, but in terms of the transfers, you'd be able to transfer the same amount of point. So let's say your Smurf was a gold 4 player, but was really a diamond, you'd be allowed the 6 points in this system to replace him. Times change from 6 PM to early, probably not earlier. We had a lot of feedback about times being a bit too early already, so potentially may change to be later. Bauer asked, wouldn't teams want to sandbag promos to be top of their group instead of low in the higher group? So one of the things that's going to come out shortly is to do with prizing in the groups and how it works. The higher group that you're in, the better chance you've got of prizing. We're also going to be very strict in terms of if a team finished top and then didn't want to get promoted and they disbanded and then reformed, we would still look to place them in the higher league. Rock asked if it's going to be prize pools. Yes. And then, yes, they will motivate people not to sandbag, we hope. Just waiting for some more questions to come in. There's not
Just because he is an old wise man.
How old is Joyce? He looks like an old wise man, 27. I am an old man. My fingers don't work like they used to before. Ed Sheeran quote. Rock literally shouted at me last night saying, why are you old? Why do your fingers not work? It made me feel bad. Edible prizes? Yes, we'll send you some cookies in the post, Alex. It was somewhere like that, Russ. Those were your ideas. I don't think so. Lucy is definitely older than 27. Will the 2 F1 admins on screen consider maybe getting to Q3 next time?
Fuck is this? Oh, sorry.
Doubtful. Both are boosted on the F1 track. In terms of having more than one team, that's a potential yes. It's to be discussed. It's something that we haven't really considered yet, but potentially. Max points are definitely still in progress. It's not set in stone. There'll be different points for each group, but it's just a tester, so this is not the final numbers. They are to be worked on. Team 27, I don't know what Team 27 is. Normal to want to bang copy. Now he's got a grown man and got a tie on. I can't see a problem with that. Will this create teams with some very high yellow players and some very low yellow players? Yes, it will, but hopefully that the group system works as it should, meaning that we have a competitive league all the way from like a silver gold average all the way up to potentially a high plat average. That's the idea behind it. That instead of people sandbagging us, they're worried that they can't play in a league. There's always going to be something to cater towards them. Rock's Ridiculous Rumble is just really ridiculous. Diamonds won't be allowed next split, but if the league continues to grow as it will, that's something that we'll be looking into. However, the diamond groups would potentially be buy-in with a much higher prize pool. More to come. There's definitely enough players to fill 3 leagues. I'd hope so. Luxar's just found out about me taking over and started sweating because he thinks he's about to get banned. Next split will be Peak. You'll not be able to play Luxar. Sorry, my dude. How many teams do you estimate will be in overall the next split? We're looking at 20. However, we're equipped to handle numbers between below that. Sorry. Okay. Don't think there's any more questions on that. No. Okay, Glenn, would you like to do the rules, or do you want me to run through them and you can do the focus stuff afterwards? How do you want to do it?
Well, you run through the rules and
Okay.
we'll just take questions after each one.
I think we run through them all and then take questions after that. I think that makes sense. Crowden, yes, tournament's still going to be a thing as of yet. We're in email conversations with potential other things, but as it stands, tournament's done as well. So yeah, we didn't include that match history thing in the rules, but I'll mention it. Okay, on to transfers and rule updates then. As you can see, there's quite a few. Glenn, would you like to add that one at the bottom about the match histories? That's so I get down to I can talk about it. So, first thing that you can all see at the top, there's going to be no more transfer weeks. If I zoom this in, old man Tracy can't do the zooms, so we're not going to zoom in. Never mind. So no more transfer weeks. Instead, how we're going to handle it is if a player wishes to leave, but the manager or the team owner or the captain disagrees, then that player is allowed to leave and join another team, but it's going to be a promotion of 1 set of games, which would basically be 1 week's worth of games. So one best of series, for example. If the person leaving leaves more than one team in a short space of time, then this will grow cumulatively, so into 2 weeks, into 3 weeks. So essentially, we're looking to promote people staying in teams, but we're not trying to limit if people are having issues. If the captain or manager agrees to that leave, then they can leave and play for the other team immediately with no punishment. We did look at putting a transfer cap in terms of players playing for different teams, but with the splits being as short as that they're going to be, we feel that the 1 week / 2 week punishment would probably cover the same thing anyway. So rather than being complicated and keeping track, this should do it in the same instance. Next one would be the modification of the grandfather rule. I feel like we should officially call this the Charmander nerd rule. People that are affected by an admin punishment or a team potentially disbanding early in the split will not be held to their current rank, but instead their grandfather rank. So to give you the exact example, Charmander Nerd was Plat 4, he was on Elothes, he got to Plat 3, Elothes got bopped on the head by admin, or by the Dewey situation, and then Charmander could then not play for another team because he was not eligible. Was it Charmander? Wait, Sean Houston, sorry Charmander, Sean Houston rule, we'll call it. So instead, Sean in that regard would then be classed as Plat 4 as he transferred. We're not looking to punish people because of people that are sneaking around or causing issue in other ways. So, next one would be the game day rule changes. It's something that really cottoned on towards the end, where people were kind of taking the benefit around the rules. But we're not allowing rules to be ignored, even if they're given permission by the opposition. For example, if you have ban losses and the enemy captain says, no, that's fine, you can have your bans, we're not allowing you to have them. We want punishments to be punishments and not circumvented. Similar to that, if a player is a higher ELO and the opposite player says, no, that's fine, they can play, you can have 6 plat players in a 5-man team, we're still not allowing it. You have to stick to the rule requirements, else there's no real reason to have them. We're also, which is a big one, having an all-chat restriction to team captains only. This is more official for stream games. If 2 sets of friends are talking in all chat in a VR game, we're not going to be able to check it unless it's obviously on stream. But for all intents and purposes, all chat restriction to team captains for pauses and disconnects. If a team captain disconnects, one member of that team will then be nominated instead to take the place. So obviously, common sense applies. If your team captain DCs, you can say, okay, he's DC'd. All chat restriction, short rule. Okay, now. Next one, prizing. If people are scouted down, they're probably getting down to this point now. So, if enough teams are in the league, prizing across all groups will be looked at. It's something that I want to put in place. However, what we want to do is to cascade it down the groups. So, the highest group would likely have a much higher prize pool than the lowest group. However, the prizing figures are yet to be decided. So, let's say if we used just, I don't know, some general numbers, it was £20 in RP for Group A, up to £100 in RP for Group D. So that's cascaded. So Group B would probably have like 40, Group C like 60 or 70 or something like that. But you get the idea that the higher up, the more prizes you can win. League managers is something that we're wanting to bring in. Dirty shout out that we stole the idea from RG, but we think it's something that's definitely beneficial with the number of groups growing, potentially looking at using league managers. So this person will be in control of scheduling or roster changes mainly, and we would allow people from other groups to do this. So for example, if player X was in Group C playing, he could be the league manager for Group A. Oh, I got chilled. Side selection is officially being required to be submitted. It's something that people have always done, but we're asking it to be submitted along with rosters 24 hours prior to game day. Fails to do so with resulting coin flip. And finally, I don't know where that came from, the focus stuff. Glenn's going to talk about focus in a second. But finally, there was... What's the other thing, Glenn? I've just gone blank.
Match histories.
Yes, so match histories. If tournament dies again, we would require a match history link to be provided to the admin team so we can keep up to date in terms of our data. The start of this split is just a mess in terms of match history. Okay, Glenn, would you like to go on to the focus stuff?
Actually, I want to do an amendment here. I actually got 2 additions to make to the rules that we're changing. So I think on game day rule changes, I think another one that we scrapped was the teams ready 15 minutes before.
Yes.
Which I think's on the rules, or has been on the rules since CL days.
Yeah, so we will look to remove that. We're not expecting people to be in lobby 15 minutes prior. We have set punishments if people aren't in lobby after a certain amount of time. We've never enforced it, and we're just going to remove it completely.
Yeah, it's likely actually that we'll comb over the rule set again before the start of next split, just to see if there's if there's anything else that's like really legacy that we can get rid of. Also, to add on to the prizing front, I'll be in contact / am in contact with Riot just now to see if we can get anything from them as we have done in the past.
Excellent news.
I'll keep you all posted.
Okay, so Glenn, take us away in terms of focus.
I think we should have questions about our rule changes, then I can blather about focus, if that's alright.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Skin block, I think that's Simon. The guys on the webcam is top left, Sandro, aka Capyrofire. Under Capyro is Travis. Under that is Tebow/Hyper. Top middle is the Fat Man owner himself, the new owner Joycer. Top right, it would be the Scottish grumpy guy Glenn. So in terms of like the all chat key strike, I'm presuming that's key. If it's on stream, we're not allowing you to type in all chat. However, let's say it's CLT versus WSL and you're really good friends, and somebody's paused, got Harshy's DC'd, obviously, and you talk among each other, that's fine, as long as we can't obviously see it. We're not asking for you to never speak to people, but as a general rule of thumb, we're saying it's restricted, so people aren't abusive and whatnot.
It just looks really unprofessional on streams, and I think that was where
it came from, yeah.
Yeah.
Quoting Star Wars to people in our chat, that's a good point. Maybe we'll make an exception for Star Wars
it's kind of hard to argue with that one.
Nah, Star Wars is hot shit now after the Last Jedi. Uncontroversial opinion.
I can't believe you've done this.
It's really bad though.
Okay, so that question about admin team changing other than Hyper, yes, there will be another change. Grumpy Glenn's leaving.
Finally.
I don't think there's many questions about the rules. I think they're all pretty straightforward. Are there minimum games restrictions for players? Yes, that's still being worked on. We're still looking at doing a minimum games. Potentially extra things on top of that. We're not looking at it to be oppressive. We're looking at it to be workable in terms of people's schedules, but also keeping it so it doesn't become, I don't know, for example, somebody who's Silver 2, level 45, mid laner, who can play people like champs without playing them in the past.
I think it was discussed that we potentially lower the amount of games that we require at the start of the split and impose a weekly, or I think it was a weekly quota of ranked games. Something like
Yes.
2 or 3 a week.
Yes, or like at this milestone, this amount of games. So it's things that we're working on, but we don't want to come out and say anything that we're not completely satisfied with ourselves yet. What happened to Trigger's content?
He's dead.
Jesus.
Probably in a pub somewhere.
Good question. Badmin's true.
Other question from Credon. Are there minimum games restrictions for players?
Yeah, that's what we just said. So we're still working on the minimum games restriction, etc., and that'll be announced very shortly, we'll see.
And then it's Impress again, also with academy teams, yes or no?
What's that? Sorry, academy teams.
Yeah.
Potentially, depending on how far, like how the groups fall and whatnot. So that's something that's a potential at the moment. Rule on subs. In terms of the points, it's something we're gonna have to look at. But the probable rule of thumb would be you have to if whoever's subbing in has to be of equal or lower value to the person who's getting subbed out. So let's say General Grievous show worth 10 points and you need to sit out a game, then the person coming in needs to be worth 10 or less. The min games per week is going to be a nightmare, potentially, but we're not going to do like you have to do 2 games a week. It'd probably be more like you'd have to play 6 games by the end of week 3. So let's say you have a 1 bidding session, that would cover you. The more points you stay together rule, active from the start. It'd probably be going in from like the first split to the second split of the new format. Minimum games forces ranks to increase, meaning the points of your team goes up, making the team illegitimate. Am I wrong? You're not wrong. However, as I said, we're going to look to be a growing league. So if the average elo of all the players in the league goes up by 3 ranks, then the points will all increase. We're not looking to punish people by them increasing in skill. Instead, we're looking to put them on a podium, so to speak, so they go into higher groups and be higher competitive. Yes, point total is not fixed at 40. That's to be worked on.
That's what the winter tournament is for.
Yes, the winter tournament is a test of how the points work, how people adjust to them. 40 will not be, well, it could be, but it's not the number that we're fixed on at the moment. There's no number fixed. Who's casting the upcoming semi-finals tomorrow? Something I had to chase up tonight. I believe that's probably all the questions. It seems that. So Glenn, are you ready for the focus stuff?
Yeah. So
I check all my DMs
we
now on my phone.
initially approached. I can't remember when we approached Focus. It must have been a couple of months ago.
It
With
was a long time ago, before August, because
yeah, it was a while ago. It was a while ago, a long time. With Impress. And the Focus League.
we have a technical issue that my Discord just died. Stand by.
On some waiting music.
Noisy?
Okay, we should be back.
Are
Are
we back?
we?
My
are
Discord
back.
just died.
Let's go.
Whew. Technical hitch. Doing it, by the way. Glenn, would you like to carry on?
I can't
Second?
remember what shit I was.
I literally left as you started talking
Where did I
about.
get to?
We approached them early on.
Yeah. So we approached them ages ago with Impress. Shout out to Impress for helping us along with that. And their EU League, which some of you have played in, was falling to bits. And essentially, we proposed that we take on all their EU folk and staff and partner with them. And that's essentially what we've done. So from now on, we're pointing NA folk to Focus. I don't think we have many, if any, of those, minus Phil, who I think is already over there. And they're pointing all their existing EU folk over to us. And essentially, we'll be running EU. Oh my god. So yeah, which is beneficial in a number of ways. More staff's obviously something that we've been struggling with this split, and with more folk we can do a lot more in terms of content and advertising, and also it really opens up the potential for growth through sponsorships, better pricing, and so on. So yeah, in terms of how VL is going to change because of it, it's essentially just going to grow. We haven't signed over any control over to the Focus folk. We're separate in that regard. We still do what we want, but it's mutually beneficial because obviously we now have an NA side, if you will, and Focus has an EU side. So yeah, happy days. That is not me. Yeah, not actually grumpy. Not actually.
Honor, by the way.
So yeah, to reiterate what Glenn just said, in terms of like when we're contacting companies for sponsorships or advertising, for any content or social media presence or anything like that, we can look and we can say, look, we've got X amount of people in EU, Y amount of people in NA, we have a wide reach. The pure figures alone, I think there's 700 members at last count in VL that we reach out to.
Yep.
And Focus was about 1.1k. So, you know, basically we're over doubling our outreach in terms of that. Things in early production that would be... nah, hold on, we just put it back. I think it was worth... Oh no, I broke it. Okay, we'll come back to it. Things that are in early production that we're looking to do would be things like a joint website. Oh, I broke it completely. I'll stop. Joint website with web hosting ourselves, looking to do, like as I said, in terms of tournament, we can look to potentially get bigger sponsorships or bigger prizing from that. So there's things that we can do. Yes, Stone, I'm aware, however, that I think that's a testament to how big the community has grown of more than just playing in the league.
Plus, we didn't advertise last or this most recent split at all.
Yes, whereas we've already started advertising and we're going to be more aggressive with the advertising.
Yes.
So, that's pretty much all I've got. in terms of like the updates, all the things. There's obviously still things to So Twitch affiliate is something that we'd look to do. In terms of what we'll go from here, there's going to be a few more things coming out in the next couple of weeks in terms of like rank requirements, restrictions, etc. The actual figures will probably come out mid-December when we get a feel of how the inter-tournament is working, which I know is not amazing in terms of like putting teams together, but we're kind of on an ad hoc basis in terms of that. Also on top of that, split date would likely be mid to late January, depending on when the league season starts, so we can do game requirements and whatnot. I think this year we did Feb 10th or something like that, so it'd be between mid-January into that date when we officially go. We're also looking to do more of a regular update kind of thing like this. Maybe not every admin, but maybe 1 or 2 admins with key people in the league that can come in and talk. So if, for example, a controversial decision's happened, rather than us typing it out and it getting misconstrued, or we're having to go on external podcasts, we can do our own.
Yeah.
We're also looking at revamping some content, because we know we're very, very aware of how it's dropped off at the end of this split, and we're keen to get it going again. I think that we had some excellent content ideas that came through from the community, and we'll look into what to jump on that. For example, if Credden finds the time, bringing the VLDL back, I think it'd be amazing. And similarly for the Nexus magazine, I think that was amazing too. So things to look forward to.
Exactly. Doing a little bit of a content redesign, because our current team is a little bit slacking off. So everyone who wants to do content, feel free to message us and get this thing up again.
Tracy, new owner, by the way. What did I do?
Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, for people that are wondering what our ideas are, our general direction, we're here to cater to the community. We're here so everyone has fun. We're not here to make anyone's lives worse or people not having fun or whatnot. And everything that we do, we do in the benefit of the league. As much as people may want to say you're biased to this or you prefer this person over this person, I can assure you from the bottom of my heart, everything that we do is done on the basis of the league improving, not anything else. And as you can hopefully see by what we're trying to do with the merger and how the league's changing, we're looking to grow this league indefinitely. So we did the feedback in press. It's in the announcements if you want to go and do it. In terms of maybe what's going in the back of my room, these things over here are giant beanbags. That's a TV mounted to the wall that I never use. And there's an aircon to my side. I don't know if there's anything else. Any more questions? Admins on teams when? We don't want to unleash the power that is Glenn on the public, sadly.
Quite right.
Don't think there's any more questions. So has anyone else got anything to add?
Oh, actually, stream team for next split. Do you want to talk about that, Travis?
What do you want to know?
So, alright. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember which game it was, but we had an issue where we had to appeal to the community to get like an emergency backup streamer. It's one of you two that couldn't make it or something came up. So we're gonna look to establish a small team of streamers as of next split, potentially for the winter tournament. I'm not sure, but essentially what we're trying to do is have someone who's supposed to stream on game day and then a backup streamer. So if you want to be part of the stream team, shoot Travis a DM.
Bauer.
Couchy.
League managers to be confirmed.
I mean, I think if you're interested in becoming a league manager, genuinely open a ticket and we can discuss.
Oh, also, while we're on the topic of tickets, we want to make sure that people are aware that we want one ticket per issue. So if you've got a ticket already open and something else pops up, make a new one so we have a constant log rather than 1,000 message ticket that some people may have had in the past. He knows who he is.
Impress.
PogChamp looks there. I'm also Crab Raven. Right, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for listening. This will be published on YouTube. I'm going to push out the doc that I used on stream so people can peruse it. Any questions, please open tickets or help desk. If people are here and listen all the way through, please answer the questions as best you can. If you're unsure, you can direct them in. And other than that, we look forward to a very good winter tournament. You're all going to run it down, I'm sure. If you haven't signed up yet, get signed up, because Rock's job is riding on the line. If he does bad, he's getting whipped back into the cage. That's a thank you from me. Guys, want to say goodbye?
Hype!
Until next time.
Oh, that was so fun.
I had to do the hype. Hype, 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 hype.
And I think it's only fitting that we end it with Admin Team Dab.
Oh, no.
I'm not fine with this.
Come on, guys.
Oh,
Has to be
Dab.
synchronized. Someone do a countdown.
Okay, 3,
I'll do the countdown. 3,
2,
2, 1.